Hi everyone, I am Kirsten Alberts and I am a trauma counsellor specialising in recovery from familial abuse. Let's just get this out of the way first as always. No contact is never a first resort. It doesn't happen overnight and it is never ever over something trivial or petty or ridiculous, despite what the estranged parents I'm about to tell you about want you to believe. After spending a ton of time amidst the battles and support groups for both the parents of estranged children and for the adult children of toxic parents, the biggest battle by far is over the reason for no contact. The members of the parent groups start by claiming that their children just up and left overnight for nothing and without warning. They swear blindly that they have no idea why their children would do such a thing and that they have tried everything they can to figure out their children's reasons for estranging, but to no avail. Here are some quotes I've collected. My daughter just told me out of the blue that she's had enough and is cutting all contact. Enough of what? What the hell is this? My son sent a message saying that he can't see me anymore. I am completely baffled. I am dumbfounded. There is no reason for my daughter to do this to me. Can someone please explain this to me? I keep searching and begging for my daughter to give me a reason, but she refuses. How the hell did this happen? If someone would tell me, I would give you all my worldly possessions, anything you wanted. We beg and plead for a reason, but they never give us one. I'm completely heartbroken. I just want my children and my grandchildren back. Once they've all agreed that their heartless children will never give them a reason, the next step is to find one on their own. I was really hoping for at least a glimmer of self-reflection here, some hope of these parents finding and accepting a smidgen of responsibility for the mess they caused, but I was and remain terribly disappointed. Unsurprised, but disappointed nonetheless. Brace yourselves. I said something or other about her new tattoo and she said, "That's it, I'm done." My daughter is just jealous that I have a better relationship with her children than she does. I was told I wasn't wanted because I snored. Can you imagine that? I don't even snore. She was the eldest and hated her little brothers because she wasn't the center of attention anymore. I remarried and she just doesn't like to see me happy. My son has a jealous wife. Many women can't handle the fact that their husbands love their moms. It's because I put cream in our dinner one night and cooked the chicken he hated. It's because they don't want to take care of us when they're old, so they cut us off now. We spoiled and coddled them too much. They simply didn't learn to have respect for parents the same way we did. They are just evil children in this world. We don't get to decide what nature gives to us. We worked our rear ends off to raise privileged kids. Now they earn more money than we ever did for doing less work. They just don't have the same values we do. This was a new one even for me. It's because we only have a couple of kids. In the old days, people had as many as 20 kids, most of whom moved and colonized in the West or joined the circus and were never heard from again. The ones that stayed had similar personalities to their parents, so they got along. It's just the natural order of things. We should actually be proud that we raised independent kids. Once these parents have patted themselves and each other on the back for decoding their children's reasons, it occurs to them that none of these reasons are very fair. Because let's face it, when taken out of this much context with no backstory and zero information or details, these reasons do seem petty and ridiculous. So what happens next is obvious. They get angry and fast. Seriously, I have never seen anyone go from baffled, dumbfounded, begging and heartbroken to pissed this quickly. You can't make this shit up. The pettiness in them is unbelievable. You want to know the reason? I will tell you the reason. Their lives are failures. Treating us this way makes them feel better about being this pathetic. They enjoy being this sick. It's a fad. Everyone needs to be in the trauma club. They have no remorse or empathy, just like psychopaths. They are self-righteous, entitled, mean, lazy, and batshit crazy. I'm glad my daughter can't have children. She'll just use those kids to hurt me. They deserve to be devastated, ruined, and living under a bridge. They're not worthy to be in my life. My daughter has nothing I want, not her love, not her company, not her time. It makes no sense to waste another second with her. Our kids will pay for what they did. Their complaints are always so petty and ridiculous. They can pull any little thing out of a hat, and you're to blame for their shit life and will be crucified forever for the most normal things. My only hope right now is for my son's children to do to him what he's done to me. Get rid of them. They are ungrateful vermin and miserable excuses for human beings. If I see my son, I would kick him in the balls. What a little piece of shit he turned out to be. Their children will do it to them, and I can't wait. I refer to myself as rent a uterus, and I'm glad the lease is up. To hell with them. Living our lives is the best revenge. And of course, no list of quotes would be complete without the old, my child was brainwashed by the disgusting husband/wife, and the epidemic that is social media and the TikTok teaching all these brats that they have rights. If you look on the groups for the adult children, it should come as no surprise that you will find a very, very different version of events. Not only are these groups filled with the adult children's very valid, very legitimate, very frightening reasons for going no contact, they are filled with the numerous ways they tried to make their reasons clear to their parents long before no contact was even a consideration. They have explained more times and in more ways that they can count. They try to compromise and negotiate. They beg and they plead. They organize talks and discussions, meetings, interventions. When none of that works, they write letters and they send emails detailing again exactly how their parents are hurting them and how and why it needs to stop. They give examples, they cite events, they reference scenarios, they produce evidence, receipts, records, screenshots, and timestamps. They propose counseling, they try boundaries, low contact, grey rocking, and mediation. And when they've run out of things to try, they try them all over again. What may surprise you is that most of the time, none of these adult children's reasons for going no contact have anything to do with what their parents put them through as children. They are far more preoccupied with what their parents are doing to their lives now. Here are some of their stories. My mom won't stop telling everyone that I am broke and being abused by my husband. Nothing could be further from the truth. We do very well for a living and are very happily married. My siblings are now dropping in unannounced to check if I have food or if I've been crying or if I have bruises. Now my husband's work has called. I am terrified he's going to lose his job over this. I have begged my mom to stop this, but she just ignores me or calls me a liar. This woman says, I have to supervise my kids' visits with my parents because they keep telling them that I'm a bad mother when I'm not there. I don't know why they would do this, and they've told me they won't stop. My father yelled at me for over an hour saying how stupid and heartless I am for hurting my mother this way. Now they're threatening to call Child Protective Services unless I let him come get my children. This woman says, I just can't do this anymore. She keeps arriving on my doorstep at all hours of the day. I work from home, so she knows I'm there. The moment she walks in, it is non-stop. I look disgusting. My house is a dump. When am I going to do my laundry? Have I paid my electrician? Do I know that I'm setting a bad example for my children? That I'm a revolting slob and that my husband will leave me if I don't get my act together? There may have been a few toys lying around, sure, but I promise you my life looks nothing like my mother describes it. I don't know what more I can do to get her to see that things are fine. This woman says, my mother was nice to my daughter when she was little, but lately I've noticed that she has started to treat her the same way she treated me. She nitpicks her outfits, comments on her food, and tells her she's getting fat. Every time my daughter disagrees with her, my mother calls her stupid or useless. She plays favorites with the other grandchildren and has even started giving some of my daughter's toys away to her baby cousin. She tells her things about sex and periods and other things that she isn't ready for. I've begged her to stop, but she just rolls her eyes and smirks. I cannot let this go on. This woman says, I've been noticing that some things in my house and closets had gone missing or had been rearranged. I thought I was going crazy until my neighbor told me that my mother had been coming into my house while I was at work. My mother denied it, but I did put an extra lock on my front door. Now she is banging on my door and windows and blowing up my phone, demanding to know why she can't get in. Here's one from a woman. My father promised me he would be much more careful with my daughter, so I allowed her to spend the night at my parents' house. This morning, my daughter told me that when they went to bed, Grandma and Granddad were very drunk and got naked in the pool and woke her up to go swimming with them. My daughter can't swim. I confronted my parents and I haven't stopped getting nasty messages about how childish and pathetic I am ever since. As you can see, not one of these reasons is remotely trivial, petty, ridiculous, and if you are no contact or you're considering it, you will know that these stories and events and countless other like it are just at the very tip of the iceberg. Neither are these events recent happenings. The stalking, intimidation, harassment, and threats to these adult children's homes, spouses, jobs, not to mention their own children, have been happening for years, if not decades. And so have their children's pleas for their parents to stop, to get help, to find a way to compromise, understand, or at the very least listen to reason. The fact that these parents have put their children and grandchildren through living hell and then turn around and swear that there was no reason to estrange or that their reasons were trivial or petty by picking something as ridiculous as jealousy or tattoos simply so that they could say they had nothing to do with it is nothing short of sickening. What makes this whole sorry mess even sicker is how these parents want sympathy after what they've done. These parents tried to destroy their children's lives. No contact was the only way to stop them, and these parents had the audacity to wail that they're hurt, bewildered, and heartbroken. And they're not even finished. As if invalidating, trivializing, mocking, and belittling their children's pain wasn't enough, these parents keep twisting their knives. While their children pick up the pieces that have been shattered by their own parents, their parents launch smear campaigns that are as vicious as they are untrue. They tell everyone who will listen that their children are deranged, violent, and insane, that they are on drugs or begging for money, that they have diseases and mental disorders, that they are being abused by their spouses, that they are neglecting and abusing their children, and that their grandchildren are suffering at the hands of selfish brats who have torn their families apart for no reason. Now, is this the behavior of people who are heartbroken and just want their children and grandchildren back? No, it's not. This is not the behavior of people who want to reconcile. This is the behavior of people who want to retaliate. They want revenge, and they go after it by ruining their children's reputations, smearing their characters, threatening their livelihoods, and promising to have their children taken away from them. Well, I have a few reasons as to why toxic parents bury their heads in the sand or generally run screaming for the toxic hills they've decided to die on, of my own to share with you. The first is that a reason is actionable. It means that something can be done about it. A reason spells out exactly what the problem is and how it can be fixed. Toxic parents have no intention of doing or fixing anything about their appalling behavior, so it makes sense that they would deny that a reason exists. My second reason toxic parents cower from a reason is that without one, it becomes perfectly acceptable to guess, because having no reason means that they can go ahead and invent one. Their husbands brainwash their daughters, wives poison their sons' minds, drugs, social media, insanity, you name it. If they can get out of taking accountability for their revolting behavior, they will. Without an actual reason, they can lay blame wherever they damn well please, and in true toxic style, they will lay the blame anywhere other than where it belongs. The third reason is the one that I think carries the most weight. It's that they simply don't care. They don't attach any value or even any significance to their children's feelings or opinions. They never have, which is why they never take them seriously, which is why they never see no contact coming, and why they have such vicious and unbelievably juvenile reactions to it when it happens. Toxic parents have parenting backwards. They have children to meet the parents' needs, not the other way around. Children have no business having feelings and opinions, let alone any right to think that their children may be in the wrong, and they certainly don't have any right to tell them what to do. So when the shit hits the fan, their sole focus is getting their hierarchies back in order, with them at the top and their children way at the bottom, venerating and revering and obediently taking orders just how their parents like it. Our goals are completely different. The children's goal is a healthy, loving, trusting relationship. The parents' goal is power, control, and therefore the right to do and say anything they please to the children they put here and who therefore owe them their reverence and obedience, no matter how toxic, destructive, or dangerous their orders get. If these goals can't align, then neither can the relationship. And if these parents keep destroying any hope of these goals ever aligning by hurling threats, going on smear campaigns, and throwing tantrums like 2-year-olds instead of addressing their problems like adults, then no contact is not a resort or even a decision. It's a result. Right. Please join my Patreon, where you can chat to me and see more of my work, patreon.com/Kirsten Albert. The link is in the description. See you soon.